This is Elton John. I'm Elton John. Hi. This is Kacey Musgraves. She's my guest for my Rocket Out this week. You're my first female guest, and it's so great to have you.
Awesome, thank you.
You've been in England, Ireland, and Scotland doing some country shows, right?
I have. Yep.
And they've gone well, right?
Very well. Yeah. It's amazing to see the love for country music over here.
Yeah, Britain's always kind of, really taken to country music. And I think, especially now, there's more artists like yourself who are pushing it in another direction as well.
Right,
and I think that's great. It's not so cheesy.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think they know now that there are other things that I want to talk about than just trucks, beer, just life.
Of course. We first met on the Royal Variety Show, believe it or not.
I know.
That was
backstage.
Very happenstance that we meet on the Royal Variety Show, of all things. But you've always been one of my new favorite country artists. I've got a new album, not me personally, but there are two new albums come out of people covering my songs and Bernie Taupin's songs, and it's one of the greatest pleasures of my life to have this. It's so amazing. There's a country record called Restoration, and you have kindly done one of our songs, and it's so great because it's one of my favorite songs from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. The guy you're singing about was an idol of mine. And when I was very young, I went to my local cinema where they had a Saturday morning thing for children. And he came and made a personal appearance with Trigger.
No way.
Yes, he did. And of course, it was Roy Rogers. And you recorded this. And I'm so grateful because it's given a new spirit to the song because you sped it up a little and it's so joyous. And thank you is all I can say.
Oh my gosh, whatever. Yeah. Thank you, first of all.
Why did you choose that particular song?
Well, I personally grew up loving Roy and Dale.
Yeah.
And I grew up singing all the country and Western songs, very traditional, and I wore the fringe and the rhinestones. So I grew up in the Western music scene. And I mean, I have to be honest in saying that it wasn't a song that I originally knew. But I saw the title and I was immediately intrigued, and then when I heard it, I just loved it. It's like this dreamy, sad, it's melancholy. He's dreaming of another place and another time, and I just loved it.
It takes me back to my childhood so much, and I'm so glad you're on the album because it's an album full of great artists like Dolly Parton,
oh my gosh,
Willie Nelson,
yes,
Roseanne Cash, Emmylou Harris,
so incredible,
Don Henley, Miley Cyrus, other young people in Little Big Town. Yeah, so it's great, and I'm so glad you're on the record. I'm so thrilled.
It made me, have a question for you about, obviously Bernie's such an incredible writer. And I wondered, like, your collaboration process with him, do you, is it the same every time or is it different every time? And saying, do you go, hey, Bernie, I have a piece of music and he puts lyrics to it? Or does he say, I have these lyrics, I need you to put music to it?
From the word go, it's always been a piece of a lyric on a page.
Got you.
Handwritten, then typed, then faxed, and now emailed throughout the years. And I go into another room and write the melody, and he's never in the same room. We've never really been in the same room. There's only been a couple of instances where I've had a melody. Don't Go Breaking My Heart I was in Barbados, and I wrote the melody and phoned him up in Canada and played it to him on the phone, and he had to write the lyrics of that. But we've never really collaborated on things. So it's so exciting. It's from the word go, going away, writing the melody, and then seeing his reaction. It's never changed. So it keeps the process fresh.
Right.
And I never know what I'm going to get. So it's like, wow, what am I doing at this time?
That is true. Does he ever go you've missed the mark. It needs to be sadder, or it needs to be,
There's been some great lyrics that I couldn't write to, and I've tried 3 or 4 times because I really wanted to write to the lyric, but I just couldn't do it. And so, he gives me much more stuff than I need, and I'm just drawn to the titles normally. And then I look at it and the little film starts in my head and I read it through and I think fast, slow, country, R&B, whatever. And I sit down and the chord comes and off I go. And don't ask me how it works. I have no idea.
That's so crazy. Yeah. And that also makes me want to ask another question. It's because I notice that your songs can obviously be very easily adapted to become country songs, and you've had kind of that aesthetic in your music before. So I don't know. I just think that's cool.
Well, I'm always drawn to country. Been drawn to country music ever since I was a kid. Listened to Hank Locklin and Patsy Cline and Jim Reeves and Hank Thompson and Marty Robbins, and Bernie was the same. And the thing with country songs, they told stories. I think that's why Bernie loved country music so much, because they were always storytelling songs.
Right.
There was And I've always loved the South is where all the great music came from: country, blues, jazz, soul, gospel. It's
Yeah.
all there. And country
Bluegrass.
music is so you hear a great country song and you can make it into a fantastic soul song, and it's
Yeah.
and that's happened on the album. This Dirk Bentley recovered "Sad Song Say So Much" and made it his own, and he made it really country, and it's quite a soulful song, but he made it into a country song, but it still has soul in it. So
That's cool.
country music touches on all those types of music,
Right.
and I love it.
It is a big melting
Yeah,
pot for
yeah.
sure.
Now to your new album, which is called Gold Now. And it's a fantastic record. And it taps into all sorts of music, not just country. It's great. I love it so much. And this is Butterflies. It's one of the new singles. Tell me about this.
Butterflies was the first song that I wrote after meeting my now husband. I decided to just get off the road and take like about a year and a half to reconnect with my creative center, because though I love performing, the songwriting is what feeds my soul. And I just really needed to get back to that. And I had gone through kind of a rough period. I didn't really know what I wanted to do creatively. And about the same exact time that I set off, I met this person who just completely changed my world.
Right.
And this is the first song that came out.
Great song.
Thank you so much.
I love the space in the instrumentation of it.
Thank you. But yeah, I love the space that you're talking about. That's really important for me. I feel like there's a lot of, space says a lot, ironically.
Yeah, and I think more people are finding space. And I think that's why people like Sam Smith, Ed Sheeran are finding that their records are so popular, because, and even in hip hop, there's a lot of space.
Right.
And I think people like that.
It takes a lot of balls to have space in your records and in your lyrics, because I mean, I feel like it's intrinsically you just want to like fill up a space, and you think that it makes it better, but not.
No. This is called Space Cowboy. Tell me about this one.
I have a horse and I have a riding teacher, so when I'm off the road and I get a chance to, I go ride when I can. And I was out at the barn one day, and there was this stallion in the arena by himself. He had been cooped up all day, and he was just going crazy, just running around and being like bucking and being a little crazy. And I was on the other side of the arena gate over here, and he was charging kind of right towards me, and it kind of scared me a little bit, but I was thinking, I mean, the gate's closed, so I'm fine. But my riding teacher was like, move back. He's coming right at you. And I was like, well, the gate's closed. And she said, girl, when they want to go, they'll go. There ain't no sense in even closing the gate.
Yeah.
And that made an impression on me. And I wrote that down and then wrote the song a couple days later.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just there's a sadness in the song, but there's also this powerful confidence too when you've finally decided to let go of something that's not good for you. You know?
You're going to be touring in America with Harry Styles.
I am.
That's a strange billing.
It is, right?
But it's a great billing, I think, because again, it's like his music and your music, and I think will appeal to the same people, and it's great.
Yeah.
I love things like that. And
do
you're getting
too.
excited about it?
I am. I think it's going to be an interesting but really fun time. And I mean, with the direction that his new record just went and the way that mine has gone, I kind of think that it'll really work.
Well, he's a sweetheart too,
Yeah.
and he's a really fabulous guy.
He seems nice, and I just appreciate when anybody wants to support other.
Did he ask you to do
genres.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so great.
I
Good
was,
for
of
him.
course,
I love
like,
him.
yes,
I love him
come
more
on.
now. I love him anyway,
You
but I
know.
love him more now. And then you are coming back to England or Britain in the fall, and you're playing Wembley Arena on the Oh What a World tour.
Yes.
Playing Wembley Arena is a big deal for you.
It is a big deal. I know that a lot of country artists don't play there.
I love Wembley Arena.
I've never even been there, so.
I've played Wembley Arena so many times. It's not as many people, but it's kind of got more atmosphere.
Right? I'd much rather have vibe than seats.
Yeah, it's vibes.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to top because the last time we came and played, we sold out Royal Albert Hall, and that was just like pinnacle for me.
Well, that's such a great place to play as
Beautiful.
well.
Yeah.
But it's, hey, baby, onwards and upwards.
Hey, baby.
It's great that you're playing bigger crowds because it means your music is being appreciated by more people. And that's fantastic because your music deserves to be heard by so many people. It's wonderful music. I'm so glad that you came over to the house and had this interview today because I know how busy you've been.
Well,
and I'm
anything
thrilled that
for
you're my
you.
first girl on the program.
Love it.
And I love you very much. And thank you, baby.
Dude, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Elton John, y'all.